Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you are tuned into Mic Drop. I am your humble host, Big Mike, coming to you from my home. Hope everyone's doing well out there. I am doing pretty damn good. Um, I guess we're coming out of lockdown soon, so everyone's all excited. Patios are opening up. I saw some patios opened up yesterday and all that. So everything is looking good and wonderful in good old T.O or whatever, or the six, or whatever the hell you call it. So I'm doing okay, all things considered. Um, I'm going to be honest with you guys. This is going to be a little bit of a. I'm going to try to make this. Today's my Feel Good Friday vlog. Obviously, where I try to talk about some positive news. And I am going to talk about some positive stuff to some degree. But this is going to be a little bit of a somber vlog for me. So bear with me. I'll kind of go into detail on why that is. Before I get into the details of that, I want to just let everyone know, if you're new to the channel, like, comment, subscribe. If you're new to watching my vlogs, thank you for checking them out. Hope you like. Feel free to comment, say anything you want. It's fine. I have thick alligator skin, so I can take whatever is dished out, good or bad. So just wanted to kind of get that stuff out the way. So I've had a bit of a rough week since last week. Last week was a really good week, or last Friday was a great day. You know, I got up early, went to shoot some hoops, which I've been doing a lot of recently. Did it yesterday, actually. Went and got groceries, cooked, did my vlog. I was all in a good mood, and everything was great. In the morning, early afternoon, unfortunately, last Friday evening, I had got some news that a friend of mine that I used to work with, Sydney, his name was Sydney Martin. He unfortunately passed away last Wednesday night due to COVID. So haven't had a chance to say this publicly or whatever, because I've kind of unplugged for like 5 days basically. I didn't really talk to too many people, or if I did, my responses and my texts and replies were very sparse and sporadic. I just was not in the best space to hear about it. So my condolences to him, his family. I know he has a young daughter. So and he was a really good dude, really good dude. I started working with Sydney at my shelter job, Salvation Army Maxwell Megan, which is downtown Toronto, in 2015. It was kind of weird because I started in March, like about mid-March 2015, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he started like the first week of April. So I was there about 2 weeks before he started, basically. And I remember me and him were working like the evening shifts on Wednesdays at first together. So I basically was kind of training him. Like we were doing walkarounds and stuff, and I didn't really know shit about the shelter myself, so it just was kind of weird that I was doing walkarounds with the new guy and kind of showing him around when I didn't really know. The building is a very big ass building, and you can get lost trying to figure out where to go. So it was a little bit of a weird thing, but he was a really good dude. Me and him got really kind of cool and really close on my shifts, because I started working with him all the time. And I remember me and him kind of got close because me and him both watch college football. And it's very rare to find any guy here in Toronto that watches college football, because most guys here watch NFL, NBA, like the major sports. So to find someone who's into college football like I was, and we were kind of the similar age, like he was only 2 years older than me, I believe. So he was a really good dude. So I missed him a lot. I kind of lost touch with him over the years. So but he was a really good dude. I know he was working a ton. He had like a bunch of different jobs. He was doing a lot of different things. My friend Curtis actually had informed me on Friday night about it, so I felt bad. I was like just in a weird fog about it. I feel a little bit better now. I did donate to his GoFundMe page. I'll put the GoFundMe page link in the description here, so if anyone wanted to donate, feel free. Whatever you can donate if you wanted to, because he does have a funeral coming up and stuff like that, and expenses obviously, and so that money would basically go to that. So and I would feel remiss if I didn't post that on there as well. So so it was a bit of a somber few days, but I think what kind of helped me get through it was thinking about kind of my memories of him and like funny stories me and him would have and conversations me and him would have. And he was just a really dope dude, and he had a similar mindset that I had, which is very rare to find. So um, he was just a good dude. He'll definitely be missed. I kind of miss him, you know what I'm saying? So, Sydney, I hope you're doing well up there, man. And, you know, well wishes, bro. So, that happened to me. So I was dealing with that for most of the week. But I'm doing a lot better now. Went to go visit my coworker yesterday at work at my other job, and it was good to kind of see her because I hadn't seen her in almost a year. So it was nice to catch up with her and stuff like that too, and kind of get back into the swing of work and stuff like that with my clients. So that was good too. But another reason why I'm in a good mood is that I believe it's today is officially Juneteenth. Now, I know most of you may or may not know what Juneteenth is. I only recently discovered what Juneteenth was a few years ago. So basically, Juneteenth is, I'll make sure I get the actual definitions because I don't want to be out here giving you guys false information. So I'll just read the description of what Juneteenth is. Sorry, so just give me 1 second. All right. So basically, Juneteenth is a holiday celebrated on June 19th to commemorate the emancipation of enslaved people in the United States. This holiday was first celebrated in Texas, where on that date in 1865, in the aftermath of the Civil War, slaves were declared free under the terms of the 1862 Emancipation Proclamation. That I think it was Lincoln who instituted that. And I think officially yesterday in the U.S., Joe Biden has officially made Juneteenth a national holiday, which I think is great. So I was going to talk about that a little bit in terms of that. There's a lot of events going on in the States. Unfortunately, Toronto, we don't have any events here on Juneteenth. But the reason why I'm wearing these colors actually is because initially, if I'm not mistaken, Juneteenth, the national colors of Juneteenth were going to be red, white, and blue. But black people have decided to change that and make the colors of Juneteenth red. I think it's red, black, and green for the Pan-African. And so just give me a sec. I just want to get the actual meaning of the colors as well, and the colors and what they represent. So basically the Pan-African flag, for those of you who don't know, is basically the blood, soil, and prosperity of Africa, and that's what the colors represent. Now, obviously, I am not wearing an actual Pan-African thing. I'm wearing my California Republic shirt, but I figured this is as close as only colors that I have that are close to black, red, and green, so I figured I'd wear that in commemoration of Juneteenth. So that's why I'm wearing this. So I mean, my feelings on it are a little bit are good. I feel, you know, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I don't really like Black History Month. Reason being, and I think Morgan Freeman, the actor, had said this, and I agree with him on this point. Don't agree with him on everything when it comes to black people, but I do agree with him on this point. I don't agree that our history as black people should be relegated to 1 month, or in that the shortest month of the fucking year. But that's just my opinion. I feel like we should be celebrated year round. We should be talking about our achievements year round, and it shouldn't take 1 month to do that. We shouldn't try to short it down to 1 month in order for it to matter. So that's kind of my feelings on that. But you know, Juneteenth is a very significant, like I said, it's a very significant time. You know, it was when slaves were emancipated, and 400 years ago, basically. And you know, it shows just how, well, 200 years ago essentially, but it shows how far we've come. But it shows that we still got a lot of work to do as a people, you know. And I know that there's probably people on the right, or conservatives, or, you know, racist people who probably are like, well, black people are just reliving the past, and, you know, it's just, you guys are playing the victim card, and you guys are just playing the victim, and why, in order to move forward, you know, you got to move forward. You can't keep thinking about history, and those things happened such a long time ago, and all those people are dead, and blah, blah, blah. and in some cases they may be right, but like I said, I watched this podcast called I Am Athlete, um, and they talk about a wide array of different issues on that show. It's a very, very good show. It's not just they talk about sports, but they also talk about social issues and things that are going on. And it's these former football players. And one of the players, Fred Taylor, when they were talking about redlining and stuff like that in the States, he had brought up a very valid, interesting point about slavery as well. And he said, you know, we were kind of forced and brought here 400 years ago, you know, and we dealt with so much trauma when we got here, so much trauma when we were here being slaves. And then we were somehow free, and but yeah, we were still not treated equally. So we're behind. You got, like, the white people have had a 400-year head start. You know what I'm saying? You guys have all the power and control and all this other stuff. So for us, while we have made strides and we have made moves and we have done positive, great things in society and in the world, and they're, you know, but we're still behind in a lot of things. We don't have tangible power when it comes to certain things. People in power are mostly not this color. You know what I'm saying? They're mostly this color. So, and those people who are this color sometimes are dictate certain rules based off of that, and they do things to marginalize other races. You know, so yes, in theory, it sounds lovely, and I think and that's why, in all honesty, I get annoyed to some degree with the idea of pick yourself up by your bootstraps. I fucking hate that term. Because for some people, they can't just pick themselves up by their bootstraps. Now, sure, there are stories out there of success stories of people, like black people that came out of the ghetto and poverty and were able to make it big, like Oprah and Jay-Z and all those people. That's great. But there's a lot of people that are still in those same ghettos who don't have that same luxury and didn't have those same opportunities and didn't have that same luck and that drive to get out of their circumstances. And some people are a product of their environments as well. And I think to sit there and just say to pick yourself up by your bootstraps when, quite frankly, you don't even have fucking boots to strap on is ignorant. And I think we need to stop making blanket statements like that, and we need to take situations at their individual level and see where they go. Now, does personal responsibility and personal accountability apply in some cases? Yes. Do I think that some black people play the race card too much in certain cases? Sure. But I don't think it's a blanket statement where we need to make it seem like something, when it comes to race, we need to dismiss it as, oh, it's just race baiting. No. There's tangible reasons that people feel this way, and we need to listen, and we can't just dismiss it as it's just race baiting because you don't want to hear it anymore, you know, because racism still exists. It didn't just exist last year when COVID happened and George Floyd was plastered all over your screen and Breonna Taylor was plastered over your screen and Ahmaud Arbery was plastered over your fucking screen, so you couldn't get away from it. Racism still goes on. There's probably another black person gets killed this year, and we're gonna be having these same fucking conversations. So let's not act like this just happened in a bubble last year and we're not still carrying on these same fights and struggles that we as black people still been carrying on. You know? And even for myself, like, obviously I've never been a slave and things like that, but 2 years ago I had the luck and the joy of actually going to New Orleans with my mom and my sister in 2019 for a few days. Never had been prior, so it was an awesome experience to get to see New Orleans. So I always wanted to go to New Orleans. So I think on me and my sister's second or third day there, we decided to walk around downtown because we were staying downtown, and we were on like Bourbon Street. So we decided to walk on Bourbon Street a bit. We walked on Canal Street a bit as well, and then we were walking through. I think we're near walking through Louis Armstrong Park. And then we walked from Louis Armstrong Park, we end up walking to this square, this little park, this little extra park called Congo Square. And basically Congo Square was essentially a place where about 400 years ago during slavery, where slaves congregated, and they had shops there, and slaves could go there and, like, let's say, have like social events and dance, and or just be there around their people, but they were still slaves. And I remember me and my sister were sitting down, and there were actually a bunch of other people walking through the park. And there was actually, I guess, New Orleans residents who apparently they give tours of Congo Square and explain the history and the significance of it, which me and my sister didn't know at the time. But we were reading certain signs around the Congo Square, so that's kind of how we found out about it. And I remember me and my sister, we talked a little bit while we were sitting down, but we were just sitting there. And I was thinking to myself that it was so eerie to sit in a place where 400 years ago or so, my people were here as slaves. Like, think about that. Like, that was trippy to think about that. That happened, and it was an eye-opening experience. It was an amazing experience. Probably one of the highlights of my trip was to go to actual Congo Square and sit there. And people again talk about, well, there's civil rights. I mean, the civil rights movement happened like 50 years ago. Yeah, the civil rights movement happened like 50 years ago, which is true. It did happen 50 years ago. But my mom is, how old is my mother? My mom is 72 years old. My mom grew up, so that basically means my mom lived during a time where there was not slavery, but there was still segregation. Black people were still not treated as equals, even far back as 50 years ago. That's not a long time, despite what people think. I know that people think like George Floyd happened 15 years ago, and the shit that happened at the Capitol building in January happened 40 years ago, because the news cycle happens every fucking day, 24/7. So news is in and out like garbage. But these things are still going. These things have not kind of gone away so quickly that they still don't exist. And I think Juneteenth kind of is a way to kind of remember these people who sacrificed their lives and fought for the eradication of slavery. Because if these people didn't do that stuff, if Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, and Medgar Evers, all these prominent black leaders didn't try to come out and try to eradicate like racism and try to advocate for social injustice and stuff, and eradicate social injustice, that we would still be, who knows where we'd all be as black people. So, I know I'm going off on a side tangent, so I apologize. It's kind of all over the place. But I more wanted just to talk about that because I think it's a good thing ultimately that they are celebrating this. And I think if you want to get more information, people, you can look the stuff up online. There's more information online about it. I can post a couple links if people comment and want to see it. I'll gladly share it and send it to you guys if you want to see it. So I just felt the need to want to share that as well. So, I mean, and honestly, too, thinking about Juneteenth as well is kind of, and even over the past few months, last year was such a really jarring year when it came to racial relations and things of that nature. And it forced myself to think about race for myself and kind of the things that I dealt with as a black man, living in North America, living in both America and here, and the racism and stuff I dealt with more so here than actually in America. And it even really forced me to think to myself what Black Lives Matter actually means to me, because it means different things to different people. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's become so political now. It's become so polarizing now for some stupid reason that I think people more or less now will just say it because it's trendy, or they feel like they're supposed to say it, because if they don't say it, then they're going to be labeled as racist, and they don't want to be labeled as racist, so they'll just say it just to shut people up. But I don't think people even know what they even mean by when they say why they support Black Lives Matter. And I had to think about that myself. Like, why do I support the movement? Like, why does it matter to me? You know, I went into the speech. I went to protests. I've done posts about it. I've talked to people who are involved in the movement. I've talked about race dozens of times on this vlog and with my friend Sana and other friends and other people. Last year, I was like the black person spokesperson, and by no means am I the black person spokesperson. I don't speak for all black people. I speak for myself. So when I thought about it, what Black Lives Matter means to me is this. It basically means to me that, and I'm not wishing this, so let me just knock on wood just to make sure, because this is gonna be a little bit dark, so bear with me. If by some fucked up shitty circumstance that I'm murdered by a cop or some racist ass white person or somebody or some racist person, period, I want that person to be arrested, tried, and found guilty for my death. Because ultimately, if he's not found guilty of my death, then my life didn't mean anything. And that's what Black Lives Matter basically means to me in a nutshell. Is that basically that tenet? That's what I really thought about why it meant so much to me. You know, and I mean, like I said earlier, I mean, there's people out there that want to talk about how, well, you know, people just, you know, there's racist people out there and there's nothing you can do about it. And nah, I don't buy into that. I think that's bullshit. I think that's a cop out. And listen, I say a lot of negative stuff about society. I say that most people in society suck ass, and I stand by that for the most part. But I also think that they're also dope ass, amazing, wonderful, fucking dope ass human beings out there too. You know, that are kind-hearted, generous, caring, compassionate, empathetic people that generally care about the world and making sure the world is a better place for everybody in it. And I believe that we need to celebrate those people more. And those people need to come out more and talk about their achievements and be able to uplift everybody else and do their part. You know, just because the world is a shitty place doesn't mean it has to stay that way. You know, because I hear people talk about all the time, well, you know, that's just the way it is. Well, okay, that's the way it is, but that doesn't mean it has to fucking stay that way. Because if we had that same mentality during slavery, then why not just keep slavery? Because people were probably saying back then, well, that's just the way it is. Black people are slaves. Just deal with it. No, because it's not right. It's not right. So why are we keeping something and continually doing something that we know is fundamentally wrong? Why not change it? Why not make things better? And like I said, although most of this vlog was somber, I want to leave it on a positive note with that because I feel like that's important. Let's not get into this mode of thinking that the world is this I don't, like I've said in few vlogs, I don't believe the world is a failed state. Even though I say, and it may come across like I do, I just understand how, in some elements, how the world works and how some people are. But that doesn't mean that there are not great people out there. And one of the reasons why I felt the need to start doing these Feel Good Fridays is I want people to feel good about themselves and feel that, hey, there are good things in the world. There are good stories in the world. There are good people out there doing wonderful things. There are great things like Juneteenth going on that are celebrating the emancipation of slavery and stuff. There are tons of events going on, which is great. You know, it's great that Joe Biden decided to enact Juneteenth as a national holiday. I don't care if you don't like Joe Biden, you think he's some old grandpa, and you hate everything, every other policy you can hate, but you can't hate a policy that is actually highlighting the struggle of black people coming out of some fucking bullshit that wasn't their fault and able to, you know, get the rights to be free as a people. I don't think if you hate that, then you're just a shitty person and you got to own that shit. But like I said, I've been going on a tangent here. This is probably one of my least coherent Feel Good Friday vlogs, but I hope that you guys can take some positives from it. You know, even though my last Friday's evening was a fucking mess, dealing with the death of my friend, I ended up deciding to think about the positives with him and how good of a person he was, you know. And even though, yeah, the slavery shit happened and we were brought here on boats and all this other bullshit, we were able to come out of that. And yes, black people, like I said, we're making strides, we're making moves, we're making headways. We're pissing off these black people, we're pissing off some coon ass black folk, but we're pissing off these racist white people who want to keep things at the status quo and thinks that things changing is a bad thing. I disagree. I think change is great, and I want us to keep doing that. And I'm a proud black man. I'll always be a proud black man, and as much as I may criticize my people, I'll criticize some people that aren't for us, but I'm always going to stand with my people first and foremost, because I'm a black man first above everything, because that's what people see me as. Everybody can say that I'm a person and they don't see color like they're a colorblind dog, but I'm a black man first, and I always will stand for my people, and I love my people, and I'm proud to be black, and I'll always be proud to be black. And that, my friends, is a mic drop. Peace and love. I hope everyone's doing well out there. Stay safe, stay blessed. I'm out.